All right, well, good evening and welcome to Questar 3 in Hudson Valley's Ptech and Early College High School Open House, virtual open house. We're going to wait another minute as people are joining our Zoom. So let's just make sure we hold tight until everyone has an opportunity to get their sound and video working. All right, well, I'd like to welcome you again. My name is Anthony Taby. I'm the Chief Academic Officer here at Questar 3 BOCES. I'm going to give you a little bit of an agenda for this evening because for those of you that have been with us before for our parent-student information nights, tonight's going to flow a little bit differently. I am coming to you live from Lang 204, which is one of the classrooms that we will be using as part of our Ptech and Early College High School program. It is a great space, newly renovated on the second floor, and I'm looking right out at the Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing. So it's quite the building, quite the campus. We're very excited to be here. So as we go on this evening, we have our chat. We are going to have the chat open. So if you have any questions throughout the evening, particularly when we're doing the virtual tour, please put the questions in the chat. And then after the chat, we'll open it up to a Q&A to respond to the questions that are in the chat, as well as other questions that have come in. And we will also, as we get to the end of the virtual open house, we will do a presentation for those that are joining us for the first time, really going into some of the particulars and details about the early college, high school, and Ptech programs. So without further ado, let's start with some introductions. Again, my name is Anthony Taby. I'm the Chief Academic Officer at Questar 3. Kimberly Sparkman.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here, and it's also wonderful to see some names that I recognize from my correspondence with you to join us tonight. So thank you for coming. I am located at what will be our Computer Lab and Distance Learning Center downstairs at Lang Hall. When I look out, I see the student quad, and you'll see this room a little bit more in our video, but it's really just going to be a great space. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to talking with you all tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Sparkman. And now Mrs. Shoemaker, Deb Shoemaker, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Deb Shoemaker, the Associate Dean of Community and Educational Partnerships here at Hudson Valley Community College. And I serve as the college liaison between Hudson Valley and Questar for this exciting new program. And I'm in what will be the makerspace for this high school program. So welcome, we're happy to see you all tonight.
All right. What we'd like to do now is we'd like to show a short video. And the video will help to share what the building will be like for students as they're coming to Hudson Valley Community College, particularly the Lang building. As I've spoken about before in previous sessions, one of the advantages of our location here on the Hudson Valley Community College campus is the location of the building is on the periphery of the campus, which gives us the isolation that we would want as students are coming out of middle school into their beginning years of high school, but also the access to the entire college campus that we will need as students advance into the later years of the program. So let's without further ado, the world release of our virtual open house video. I'm going to turn it over and to enjoy.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you here with us today. I am standing at the entrance of Lang Hall at Hudson Valley Community College. This will be the site of the Ptech and Early College High School programs, Questar 3 BOCES' newest offerings. We're here to give you a tour, but please forgive our appearance. This building is still under construction, but there is still a lot of great things to see. Let's take a look inside. The first stop on our tour is going to be the future site of where the storage units will be for students enrolled in our programs. As students get off the bus, they'll come through our main doors. And on the right here will be storage where students can put their personal belongings before they go to class. Upstairs, we have 6 instructional classrooms that have all been recently renovated. Within them, they have instructor consoles, interactive whiteboards, and projectors already set up. Let's take a look inside one of the classrooms to see what it looks like. Welcome to class. Let's take a look at what we have. First, every classroom is equipped with a climate control center so that the students are always comfortable within the classroom. We also have brand new interactive whiteboards that are connected to the projector so students can easily see the instruction from their seats. At our instructor's desk, we have a brand new Elmo along with a computer which is built into the desk. So the instructor has all the tools needed to provide those lessons. This classroom really is a blank slate, ready for a teacher to come and make their mark. Our classroom is currently set up for the standards of social distancing. However, since we don't know what the future holds, these desks are easy to move and manipulate to work through the space as instruction is needed. However, we always follow the protocols of COVID-19 to keep our students and staff safe. To access the second floor, there are 2 options. First, we have the main stairs, but we also have an elevator system so that all students can access the second floor. Where I'm standing right now is the future site of a collaboration space where students can come together. There'll be whiteboards on the walls. There'll be alternative seating where students can sit and discuss the lessons and work on projects far outside of the classroom walls. In this office, we will have a full-time school counselor. That person will help our students navigate the requirements they need to fulfill their graduation requirements. In addition to that, we will have a school social worker. This person will provide social and emotional support to our students. And finally, we will have a mentorship coordinator here. This person connects our students to our industry partners and facilitates the mentorship program throughout the years. From here, we're going to head back downstairs, and I need you to use your imagination because this section is still under renovation, and our vision will be realized this summer as we work with Hudson Valley and their contractors to develop the space of our dreams. Downstairs, on the right side of the hall, we'll have a completely refinished cafeteria. We will have lunches provided by school districts, or students can opt to bring their own lunch. I'm standing in what will be our science lab. This lab will provide a space for our earth science and living environment students to complete their labs. After that point, our students will take their science classes throughout the campus in their college courses. But for the first 2 years, they'll be using our lab space right here in Lang Hall. I'm standing in what will be the crown jewel of our programs. This is the future space for our makerspace. In this location, we will have robotics, we will have a virtual reality stations, and we'll have 3D printers. Students can use this space to tinker with materials, explore the uses of technology, and teachers can sign it out as they develop projects. In addition to the makerspace, we also have a computer lab. Students are all issued a laptop computer when they enter into our programs, and they can use this space to do research and collaborate on projects. Finally, this space will be used for our mentorship program. One huge component of our program is student mentorships with our industry partners. They will meet regularly with their mentors in these spaces. Being located on a college campus doesn't mean that we have to compromise on security. Students will be issued a Hudson Valley Key Fob. This will be their gateway to entering our building. Lang Hall is located right by the student quad, which gives teachers and students an opportunity to bring class outside on nice days. School districts will be providing students with busing to get to our programs. The buses arrive on campus and they drop our students off right at the door. When students have their driver's license, they will have the option to drive to campus. They'll be issued a Hudson Valley Student ID parking pass, and they'll be able to park in the student parking lots right by the building.
All right, well, thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoyed the virtual open house video and has a better sense of what the environment will be like here on Hudson Valley Community College campus, particularly in the Lang building. I'd like to invite all of our participants to please use the chat function, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have specifically about the building. All right, so I don't see any questions in there yet, but please feel free to pop those in there. I do see one question that came across. Will there be lockers? And that was the space that Mrs. Sparkman showed at the very beginning of the video. As students come into the building off the buses, there will be spaces right there for students to store their personal belongings.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kim.
I was going to say the one feature that I didn't mention was our proximity to other locations throughout the campus. Right across from me on the teacher quad, or I'm sorry, on the campus quad is the public safety office and the student center. So it's all about a 1-minute walk from this building. It's a great location to have them literally right across the way. Some more questions we have. Will there be a tour before we go?
Absolutely, and this is definitely not intended to replace that live in-person tour. We just wanted to provide this as an alternative until we can bring our students together on campus all at once and really give them a full tour of the building and the facilities that they'll have access to and be using.
That's a big part of the Summer Bridge program, which if you've joined us for our previous presentations we've talked about, there is a few days over the summer where we'll meet on campus and you'll get to really dive into what's on this campus. We'll have scavenger hunts and tours, and you really just will spend that time learning the building and learning our place on the greater campus as well.
So Kim, one of the questions that's in the chat is, can I still join the program if I am in 10th grade?
So we are actually providing course sequencing for a lot of different students in different grades and different levels. So my answer to that would be, let's talk and let me see what you're currently in, and we can build a schedule for you to see if it's something that would work for you.
And then another question that's in the chat is about the school hour. So what will the school hours be for students?
So we worked very closely with Hudson Valley to figure this out, and it's still being worked out with transportation. We wanted to make sure that we were arriving at a time that wasn't very busy with college professors coming on and other students coming on. So our start time will be right around 8:15, so that 8 o'clock push is kind of over. We missed the rush hour that can happen. And then we will be concluding our day around 2:15, 2:30, depending on the transportation needs of districts. Will there be accelerated classes still if a student is currently in those types of classes? Like I said before, as we're getting transcripts from students who have already applied, we're seeing the amount of coursework that would need to be provided in order to offer that sequence. If you're in accelerated classes now, first of all, that's awesome, good for you. But also that means that you'll be able to start your college courses at a younger age, or you'll be able to double up and take more college courses earlier on and can finish the program on an accelerated coursework timeframe.
All right, next question in the chat is specific to, will there be a high school graduation after 4 years? We will certainly have high school graduations, program completion graduations as students finish their program. But similar to Tech Valley High School, students will also have the option to participate in their home district's graduation ceremony as well. What a lot of students end up doing is participating in both.
We have a question on on scheduling again. What type of schedule can students and family expect? So this is a full day program. Like I said, 8:15 to about 2:15, 2:30. Students will be transported by their home districts, arriving here, attending our class full day, and then they are returned back to their home district. Whether the bus brings you directly to your house or to your home district sort of depends on our work with the transportation director. So we'll have those answers for you as each individual school shares with us what their transportation plan is.
Great. All right, Kim, next question is also, when will the lottery be chosen? The website previously said the 28th of April, which was likely an older date. And yes, that is correct. As we have gone through this recruitment process, we have adjusted some of our timelines. So the application deadline is now the 28th of April. And we will be doing the lottery very quickly after that, based upon student enrollment and student applications that we've received.
One great question on here is, will students have access to Hvcc library? And absolutely, and it is beautiful. We'll have access to all the databases and can physically go to that library and conduct our research, and the librarians will work with us to be able to use that, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest advantages to our location is the access to the facilities that Hudson Valley Community College has right here on campus. Not only the physical facilities, but also the personnel resources too. We intend to welcome a wide variety of guest lecturers and speakers into our programs to help support our students, along with the Hudson Valley Community College faculty.
We have a question asking how we deal with students, how do we deal with kids with IEPs and 504 plans? So the answer to that is quite well. And it's something that Questar 3 BOCES has always really excelled at. So we will have on staff a full-time special education teacher that will be providing resource room along with consultant teacher and co-teaching options. In addition to that, the special education teacher acts as a liaison for our students as they learn how to be self-advocates and tap into the resources and supports available to them at Hudson Valley Community College, as these services and supports don't go away when you finish high school. So you'll learn how to access those even when you're in high school and you're in your college classes. So we're absolutely equipped to follow 504 and IEP plans and to support all of our students.
So Kim, there's another question in here about the what will the transportation look like, and will students go to their school and then will a bus pick us up and then go to Hudson Valley? I think one of the things we can talk about there is that we're working with all of our component districts, and as students are identified and selected for the program, to coordinate that transportation. One of the things that we are lucky to already have, we already have our New Visions program. So we already have buses that are coming from our southern and western component districts and transporting students up to programs that are within the capital region. So we already have a structure that will help to support easy access for students from all of our component districts and beyond to access our programs.
We had a student or a person ask how they carry all their books. So the building itself isn't huge, so it's actually not a lot of moving around the first year, but we will be using ebooks as well. Those are the digital textbooks that are available online, so students can really use what works best for them. But Mr. Tabey did mention that we will have lockers, plus your backpacks are allowed in the class as well. How many classes will students be taking a day? We're still working out the master schedule, but it'll look to be about 8, I would say, with obviously a lunch in there.
So will those who are starting the program in 10th grade be able to take classes over the summer? There is a summer component that is built into our program. And again, I think that we need to work with each individual student and see exactly where you're at within your 9th grade coursework, so that we can make sure that we can program for you. And one of the beauties of the program is that there is flexibility between years. The Ptech program is up to a 6-year program, and students can finish that program in a lot shorter amount of time than 6 years. Conversely, students can start it a little bit later and still finish it within those 6 years. So there is flexibility on both ends of that. And we want to work with every individual student to see how we can make this work for you.
The question that asks, at what point or age will students be attending with actual college age students? So I would say that depends on the Hudson Valley class schedule and the pathway that the student has entered into. But if I had to make a guess, I would say probably by junior year, if the classes align and if it's happening elsewhere. That is our goal, is for you to be emerged with all students that are of the college level, so you really get that feeling of being a Hudson Valley student on campus. So I would say by junior year.
So just to expand upon that, so students will be taking college level coursework in their, actually as early as their 9th grade year, by starting with a forum class, which will be an exploratory class. So they can look at all the different pathways that are part of the program. By their 10th grade year, they are all going to be enrolled in college level coursework, but that will be taught by high school faculty, and it will be taught right here in the Lang building. As Mrs. Sparkman mentioned, by the time that students enter their junior year, we're going to be acclimating them to the college environment, and they're going to be sitting and taking classes with in a college classroom. So quite a phenomenal opportunity that we're really excited to, but also we want to make sure that our students are ready for that. So that's why we're making sure they're staying right here in their 9th and 10th grade year. And then by the time they get to their junior year, that's when we start to introduce them to other locations on the campus.
Will they be able to change programs if they find something else that they are more interested in? So as long as it's one of our 4 pathways, the answer is yes and no. So in 9th grade, all students will enter, and we're working to design a class in 9th grade that allows students to explore all 4 pathways. So they'll spend a portion of their year learning what's involved in the computer science pathway. They'll use a portion of the year for civil engineering, and so on and so forth. So they actually rotate through the 4 pathways, meeting industry partners, hopefully going out on field trips to see some of this at work. And then by 10th grade, they'll slowly start to take specific courses for that pathway. I believe in 10th grade, it's one pathway specific class and then one college class that all the students are in. So you can still change your mind after 10th grade and it won't really impact your sequence. By the time you hit 11th grade, that's when you're in 3 and 4 and maybe even more college classes that are specific to your pathway, and it becomes a lot harder to change from computer information systems to civil engineering, for example. So you get that foundation early on, and there's definitely room to switch. But after 10th grade, it would become more difficult. You might have to take the full 6 years and take classes over the summer. So it would be a little bit harder to switch after that.
So Kim, one of the other questions in here is there an art class?
Oh, yes. So yes, of course, as that is a requirement for graduation. But in addition to that, we are working to see how we can create an art class that helps to use the space that we're in. We're at Hudson Valley and they have a beautiful fine arts program. Our makerspace is going to lend itself to some great projects you can do with the arts. So yes, absolutely. If you're a student that's passionate about the arts, then you will find a home here. And we actually work closely with some of our other teachers at Questar 3 BOCES that teach art programs to try to help really bring great projects in for you.
So the next question is, everyone that signed up for the program, we are all accepted, right? Well, the question, I will talk to that a little bit. So the cohorts for the 2 programs, the early college high school program has a cohort size of 25 students, and the cohort size of our Ptech program is 45 students for a total of 70 students each cohort year. So it is our hope to reach that 70 target with our enrollment. And that is through collaboration and coordination with our districts. So we're working with our districts to determine how many students each district will be sending. And as we do that, then that will determine whether or not we really would love to take all of our students who apply. But that really is ultimately a collaborative decision between ourselves and our component districts, and we work collaboratively with them on that.
One person asked if there's a music class. So when I spoke about the arts before, I should have clarified, to graduate, you need 2 classes, and one can be music in order to fulfill the arts requirement. And I would love to see a music class here. And that's really going to be something that we're building up right now. So we'd find out if it's possible to partner with Hudson Valley or how we can provide some music instruction.
So another question on here was, how can you speak to how you would work with interested 9th grade students, what families should do? One of the things I would offer is that we've run a number of these parent-student information nights and tonight's open house, but both Kimberly and myself are always available to meet individually with students and families to talk specifically about their unique needs and their unique wants as far as the program is concerned. So please reach out to us. We're happy to schedule an individual meeting so that we can go over everything that, all the questions that you specifically have. And we're also happy to work with your current counselor, your current school counselor, as we're working through this recruitment and application process.
We have a student that's asked about transfer credits and going elsewhere after they complete our program. And this really 2 great answers for this. First, Hudson Valley does have over 50 articulation agreements with 4-year colleges, which means that they accept the credits that you've earned in this program directly into the 4-year college as you work on your bachelor's degree. No questions asked. It's an agreement Hudson Valley has with this college. There's a list of what colleges have these agreements that's currently in the chat right now. The nice thing about our 4 pathways, though, is that you can go on to college and go all the way up and be doctor, or you can go right into the workforce. And in the presentation we'll do after this, you really see how all 4 of these pathways were chosen very specifically because there are a huge demand for this workforce right here in the Albany area. So regardless of where you go after you leave us, you're either set up for success in a bachelor's program or going right into the workforce and finding that job.
Next question, Kim, in the chat is, are students able to attend events, activities at their home school?
That is our absolute hope. Obviously, your school is, your home school, there's sports, there's clubs, and you don't want to lose that connection there. So this will depend on transportation. It will depend on what time you can get back to your home school. Sports are absolutely an option, and after school clubs at your home school, as long as the buses can get you back in time. I will also speak to the clubs that we hope to run here. As you're part of our school, we're looking to develop clubs that link to our pathways. We've already been working with our partners at the Tech Valley Center of Gravity, which is this amazing makerspace place downtown Troy. And they want to work with us to develop clubs for students that connect to what they're learning here. We also want to look at student government here, of course, and other ways to get students involved in our programs. And then after school, you can go back to your district and participate there.
Just expanding upon that a little bit and just looking at some of the other questions. And I answered this earlier as far as, but I wanted to clarify it a little bit more. As far as just reach out, our contact information is right on the website. Kim Sparkman, Anthony Taby at questar.org. You can link to us right there. Just send us an email and we'll connect with you to set up an individual video session to go over the programs and answer any specific questions that you may have.
We've done that already with a few families that are even on tonight, and I love it. I get to really see the person who's interested. We get to talk about who they are and not just what we're reading through emails. So please take us up on that and let's schedule a Zoom and let's have that face-to-face conversation that we can.
So what are the criteria you will be considering when accepting a student from a district that is only sending one student but has multiple applicants? And that's a great question. I want to answer it in 2 ways. One thing that I want to share is that when we're considering students for attendance into the program, we want to make sure that there is a fit between the student and the program. When it comes to more applicants than a district would be sending, that is handled based upon a lottery. So it'd be a blind lottery for, if let's say a district has 3 applicants and they're only sending 2 slots, a lottery would be done to determine who the 2 students are that are going to have access to those 2 slots. It would be our hope that if a district has 3 applicants, that we could convince them to fill those 3 slots, and that's something we would work with our districts on. But if there is a disparity between the number of applicants and the number of slots, a lottery would be used to determine that. Similarly, if more than 70 applicants total are received, then a lottery would be necessary because there'd be more students than slots in the program.
We have a question, is Spanish available? And so this is obviously speaking to the larger foreign language plan. So what we offer here is exactly in line if a student is looking for an advanced regions diploma. To receive that, you need to have an additional language course. So yes, absolutely, Spanish will be offered. But in addition to that, our students are coming from all different districts, and they come in with the beginning sequence of different languages. So we're looking at what programs we can have here to be able to provide language options for all of our students. So yes, we'll definitely have Spanish.
So next question is, if a student finds the program isn't for them, can they return to their home high school? Well, we would certainly hope that that would never be the case. And we would want to work with that student to ensure that that every option, every possibility is being considered. But if it's mutually agreed upon that it is not the right fit and you wanted to return to your home district, the credits that you're accumulating will also continue to meet the high school graduation requirements of your home district. So that would be a possibility, but we would want to make sure that we're having structured meetings to work through that together with you. We want to make sure that in no case would that lead to a student having a longer pathway to degree completion or diploma completion. So, and Brian Forrest has been popping some of the answers to the questions in the chat. And hopefully everyone is seeing them, but what are the characteristics of a successful student? And I think that's important to talk about. So successful students are passionate about science, technology, engineering, and math, and the pathways of the Ptech and early college high school programs. They're motivated to explore new and exciting ways to learn, able to succeed in a non-traditional classroom setting, and they're interested in the rapidly growing fields that we've identified within our pathways. So web development, engineering, environmental, or health sciences. They have to work well in a collaborative environment. There's going to be a lot of project-based experiences for our students. So we want to make sure that they're able to work well together. And they want to, as we mentioned before, but this is going to be a different high school experience, and we think it's going to be a great high school experience. But they have to be willing and open to trying new things and new experiences. And our contact information is in the chat. You can just copy and paste that into an email and be able to send us a message. All right. Well, we're getting to the bottom of our questions, which is great. So all of our information is up on our website, along with a frequently asked questions section. We're going to use some of the questions that were raised tonight and add to the FAQ section of our website. But there's a lot of information there, even questions that weren't asked tonight. So please take an opportunity to peruse that. There's also videos of all of the parent-student information nights that have been held previously, along with the virtual open house video, and we'll post a video of tonight. And we're also going to be posting some of our partner videos, so information about Tech Valley Center of Gravity. So that will be there as well.
A couple more great questions are in the chat. First, how do we handle food allergies? So talking about the larger picture of food in general, we are contracting with a school district locally here to bring over lunches to our students. Of course, you can opt to bring your lunch from home, but we will have school lunch provided as well. And just like in other districts, if we have students with food allergies, then we just make the district aware of that to make sure that we're safe and that we're not cross-contaminating any food and that everyone is healthy. The next question we have is, are we going to have a couple more events like this to keep you posted? Progress reports, right? You want to see this whole space come alive, and absolutely. I think we as an organization are really excited about what this building will look like throughout the summer. And Hudson Valley Community College has been amazing at meeting with us, and they've brought their contractors down, and we've shared our vision, and they've never said no. So it's amazing, and we will absolutely send updates, post pictures of the progress as the makerspace comes alive. And I don't see why we can't host more events like this where you can see the progress.
Absolutely. Then just to add to that, next Tuesday night, we are also having another parent-student information night, but more to come even after the Q&A. For those of you that are joining us for the first time this evening, we're going to go through the PowerPoint presentation, which goes over the program in a little bit more detail than we've done in the Q&A.
Questions asking, do we still go to our home high school normally as well as Hudson Valley? This becomes your high school. So you'll get on the bus and you'll come to Lang Hall, and this is your high school. You can still go home for clubs and sports, and you might be at your high school briefly to get on a bus, but we're fulfilling your high school education and also the college component of working towards that associate's degree.
So a couple of great questions in the chat with regard to interviews. So all of the applicants for the program will be part of an interview process as we go towards admittance into the program. So yes, we will be interviewing students. And then the other question that's on here, and I want to point to a resource that's on our website already. The email that parents and students when we send out alerts. So there is a section on our website to request more information about Ptech and Early College High School, and that adds you to our distribution list. So anytime we're sending out announcements or information about upcoming events, like our parent and student information night on the 27th, if you're on that list, you'll automatically receive that communication.
A person asked if there was a nurse on campus. So Questar 3 BOCES we have nurses that work for Questar directly, and they will handle medical records, and they'll come over to check in on students, but they're not on site. If we have a situation where we need a nurse and it's not really an emergency, they're 5 minutes away, so they come right over. If it's an emergency, then we have the health center at Hudson Valley, which is full of nurses, and they're able to provide that immediate support.
So there's also a question about, it sounds like there's a lot up in the air still. What date are you hoping to have plans more finalized? And one thing I will say to that is that this is a new program. Quite a lot has been identified and determined, and we are in a great place, but there is also a lot that is yet to be finalized. If you have specific questions about that, please reach out. We're happy to share exactly where we are with all the different answers to different things. But we are in April, and it's been a very busy winter and early spring, and it's going to be a very busy spring and summer as we get ready for students in the fall. But we're very excited, and we will be ready for all of our enrollees for fall 21. And Brian put a link to the let us know if you are interested form on our website, and that will make sure that you're ensured to receive any future updates, any further information that we send out regarding Ptech and Early College High School. So how will you be coordinating school breaks? It seems that they all fall at different times in some of the districts around here. Are all districts involved on the same break schedule? Well, one of the advantages of being a BOCES is that the majority of our districts follow a BOCES calendar. The BOCES calendar is adopted first, and then school districts adopt their calendar for school breaks. So for the most part, the breaks are the same, and there might be a discrepancy of a day here or there, but we'll work through that. I would just point out too that this is the student's school. So when we're in session, students will be coming for in-session dates here. That won't interfere with breaks for February, December, April, particularly in those first 2 years when students are taking high school classes. I will say that as students start to follow the college schedule, that's going to become a little bit more difficult because the college schedule is different than a typical school district schedule. So students who are enrolled in college courses will be following the college course schedule for those classes. And Brian's putting in some of the will students follow college schedule for breaks, and that's in there as well.
Question says, what if you are not attending a component district school? So our schools that are sending to this program are quite vast. It's not just Questar 3 component school districts anymore. We've opened this up to all of the school districts that fall under Capital Region BOCES as well, for a total of 46 school districts that are sending. So if you have a particular question on if your district is sending, feel free to email us and we can find out.
So great question in the chat about how will the interviewer deal with a student who is very bright, but has an IEP or stress, and an interview may not show their talent and who they are real and their honor roll since pre-K. Well, I will share a big secret with the entire audience here. This is something that scares the heck out of me as far as being live and doing presentations on video in front of people. So it would definitely not be something of me judging somebody else because they're uncomfortable in an environment like that. And I would just say that we are very accommodating. We are very non-stress inducing individuals, and hopefully we can have a good conversation with anybody who's interested in the program. We want to make sure that we're creating a stress-free environment for all students to be successful in this program. And we look forward to the opportunity to talk to any and all interested students.
In addition to that, for your application, there is also a portion that goes to people to write recommendations on your behalf. So people who have known you, people who have learned with you and have watched you grow, that I'm sure will speak very highly of you. They help to paint that picture of you as a whole person.
All right, I don't see any other questions in the chat, Kim. So what we will do at this point is we're going to pivot to a presentation, which for those that are joining for a second or third time, it's going to be a very similar presentation from the information about the program. So if you've previously attended an information night, you don't need to remain on for the end portion. But if you are new to us this evening, please remain on, and we're going to go through some more specific details about the program. I do see
the final question in there about what happens if we go into a lockdown again. Would we go virtual? And these are decisions made by the Department of Health and by the governor's office, and we follow those guidelines to a T. So if we're on lockdown and shutdown, so is everybody else. Fortunately, it's been a year, and our teachers have really tackled how best to instruct students virtually. So we have every confidence that you'd still be able to learn and to experience the richness that is Ptech and early college high school, even if we end up under a situation like we did in last March. So we're hoping that won't happen, but
we're ready for it if it does.
Exactly. I'm going to share my screen for the presentation.
Sure.
All right.
Kim, before you do that, I did see one more question pop up in the chat. If we want to just go to that, back to that quickly.
Sure. Stop share.
Actually, I can just to expand upon my question earlier about selecting students. Will the lottery be based upon students who are deemed a good fit after their interview process? So I think the decision from that standpoint would be a student decision. We want to make sure that through the interview process, we're able to explain and make sure that this is a program that a student is interested in. There would be no determination by us to say, nope, you're not a good fit for the program. It would be a student and parent decision to say, this isn't going to be what I'm going to apply for. But all applications will be part of the lottery process, and we wouldn't be excluding anybody based upon an interview.
Oh, I was reading his answers, thinking those were questions. Okay. Mask requirement. Again, this goes with the requirements set forth by our County Department of Health. We would follow exactly as other schools are doing with social distancing, with mask breaks, of course. It's the same. That's every school now.
So I just want to point this out because I think it's important as we're having this session here. As we started at the very beginning, Kim is in a separate room from me, and Ms. Shoemaker is in a separate room as well. So we're not wearing masks right now, but we're in rooms by ourselves, literally. So I just wanted to point that out. I should have done it at the very beginning, but I just wanted to express that. All right, so we're gonna pivot now to the presentation portion of this evening. All right.
Okay, I'll skip that one. This goes back to component districts. Here's a visual. If you live in any of these areas, you are welcome.
So I think it's important just to see that 7 counties, 46 school districts served. And this is in partnership with our Capital Region neighbors, Capital Region BOCES neighbors as well. So just really quick, what are Ptech and early college high school programs? So what they really are set up to do is to allow colleges and universities to partner with public dual school districts and or BOCES. As we identify the pathways, they're intended to fill workforce development skill gaps, and students earn free college credits while completing their high school diploma. And it puts students on a fast track to a college degree while saving their families thousands of dollars in tuition costs. So we've talked a lot about this, and we've shown exactly where we're at here at Hudson Valley Community College. Both of the programs will be located here, and students will start their coursework, college coursework, as early as 9th grade, and that will be that college forum class that we talked about. Ptech is a 6-year, up to a 6-year program, and which culminates in an AAS degree of up to 63. It's actually 64 college credits. The Smart Scholars Early College High School program is a 4-year program, more similar to a traditional high school structure, and students earn a minimum of 24 college credits and a maximum of 60 college credits in that program. Wait, before you go off this, go back to, so in that bottom left-hand picture there, I don't know if you can faintly see, but you can see the yellow building and the cursor is kind of over it. That's the building that we're located in right now. And you can see the parking garage is right next to it, as well as the brand new Haas Center for Advanced Manufacturing. But the roadway really permits that easy access, as was shown in the video, as students are arriving with their buses onto campus and are walking right into the building. No students are walking through the quad or walking across campus to get to the Lang building. It's off the bus, straight into the building. All right, so the focus of these programs. So we have a total of 4 different pathways, and I'll explain. You see 5 bullets here. I'll explain why. So we have 3 different Ptech pathways: computer information systems with a focus on web development, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence, and engineering technology with a focus on civil engineering and architecture, environmental science and protection technology with a focus on clean energy management, and then early college high school with a focus on health sciences with examples like respiratory therapy, radiologic technology, and dental hygiene. And then you also see that computer information systems is identified here as well, focusing similarly on web development, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. And the reason that that pathway exists in both programs is it really is determined by what the student desire is as far as what their pathway looks like. Are they pursuing a college career after they complete the early college high school program, progressing on to a four-year institution, or do they want to immediately enter the workforce after they complete their associate's degree? So really that will dictate which pathway of those two would be the best for them within the computer information systems pathway. So we emphasized this earlier, but I just want to talk about it a little bit. As we were identifying pathways with our steering committee, we wanted to make sure that they were had significant forecasted job growth within the capital region. So you can see web development with a 20% change in forecasted job openings by 2028. Civil engineering technology, 18% change by 2026. Environmental science, 17% by 2026. And our health sciences professions and fields have some of the largest growth between 22 and 30% by 2028. So you can see how significantly these areas are growing within the capital region. And you can see how they compare nationally. And there is a difference there. And we really want to make sure that we're in the capital region. Let's make sure that our pathways are specific to the job growth within the capital region. So we've talked a lot about the key benefits, and I'm not going to read through this slide, but just to highlight a few things, the free college credits that are offered as part of the program, no additional cost to students and families, workplace visits and workplace learning internships are really an important component of our program, as well as a strong project-based learning experience. We really want to make sure that that project-based learning is at the core of our programming so that students are immediately applying and seeing relevance in the content and the course content that they're learning.
So I mentioned this very briefly during the last session. The Summer Bridge program, we're all coming from 46 different school districts, and it can be a little bit intimidating because you're going to be with students that you don't know yet on a brand new college campus, and you're not really sure what you're getting into. The Summer Bridge program is huge in literally bridging your middle school experience and what you're used to what you will have here. We're looking at, this is definitely still in the building process, so everything isn't quite finalized yet, but we're looking to select some dates over the summer where students will be able to come on campus and get to know each other. I talked about the scavenger hunt, and there's a really cool ropes course here. So ways to get onto this campus and to experience it. We also want to introduce you to our industry partners. So we'll have some days where we come here and then we take field trips out to the different sites of the people that we'll be working with for our mentorship. We obviously are very aware that this is your summer and families plan trips and they need that break. So we are looking to have remote options as well. So if a student needs to join us remotely, we can make that happen. More information will be coming out about this in the coming weeks. And for the students who enter into this program, they will get that notification immediately so you can plan your summer. But it's really just a great opportunity to get to know each other and to get prepared for the fall.
All right, on this slide, we have some of the similarities between the two programs, early college, high school, and Ptech. They're both located here. They are all focused on in-demand industries and jobs. The dual enrollment coursework beginning no later than 10th grade. The articulation agreements, quite the advantage is the ability for students to transfer any credits earned as part of this program to more than 50 institutions outside of Hudson Valley Community College. The workplace visits, internships, and students first in line for job opportunities. One of the features of our program is alignment and mentorship by our industry partners. So each student will be assigned an industry mentor that they'll be meeting with regularly. And we want to make sure that as part of that, that they're first in line for their pathway specific career field. This kind of goes over the same things that I just talked about. Ptech up to 6 years, Associates of Applied Science, 60+ college credits. Industry mentor is part of the Ptech program. Early College High School is a 4-year curriculum. And one of the features of the program is that 51% of the applicants, and this is for us to determine, not for anybody else, but we need to ensure that there's target district representation, which is an accountability designation as part of the state. And that's something that we just have to ensure as part of the RFP or the grant.
So looking at who is a successful student, and we've talked a lot about the opportunities here and the pathways here. And so what does that mean for you when you're deciding if this is right for you? We're looking for students who are motivated to learn in a different environment, something that might not look like what you're used to in school, someone who's willing to take that risk and collaborate with other classmates, or do some really interesting project-based learning assignments. We're looking for students who are interested in those 4 career paths, because you'll start taking courses specific to those in 10th grade. So it's going to become a big part of your high school experience, is learning about that pathway. So having that interest is key. I mentioned collaboration, being able to work in a team, being able to really get to know your classmates and to work well with them is very important, and having that different high school experience. If those are some values that you have, or some characteristics of a school that's very important to you, then you'll be a successful student here. So what happens next? Our application deadline is not until the 28th of April. So you have some time to decide. If you haven't applied yet and you're interested and you think you want to apply, then we'd recommend that you let your counselor know so that they can help you, because they're going to become a part of the application process. We do have an online application that you fill out with your family. I'm sure that someone from communications is putting it in the chat now. And this is all, you can do this all online at home. There are some questions, like short answer questions, that you can respond to about how this fulfills your goals, and things like that. So you can answer those together. But in the application, it asks you for a counselor email and a teacher email. The application will automatically send a reference to the 2 people whose emails you've provided, and those people fill out a separate reference on your behalf. So we handle actually getting the reference. All you need to do is put their emails in. So that's why I recommend you talk to your school counselor and let them know, hey, I'm applying, expect this email, because they'll get it from us. And once you hit submit, then you have applied, and we can begin the process of working with your school to see if there's a slot here that we can take you. And you came tonight, which was great. You got to see the building and get some valuable information. We're going to continue to have these. Our next virtual open house is next Tuesday. And then thereafter, we'd like to continue to have these live broadcasts so that you're able to see the progress in the building, and to also get all of the updates as we're still in the planning year. So these questions will get answered more completely and with more information as the months progress towards the summer. So stay informed. Before one of our communications people put a link in of how you can supply us with your email address to get on that email listserv. My phone's been blowing up with people who are doing that. So that's awesome. By filling that out, it actually comes right to me, and then I can send you emails and set up ways that we could talk personally, and really just to connect so that we can learn about you and you can learn more about us. So I would encourage you to click on that link and give us your email address, and that allows us to be able to communicate with you directly. Our timeline. We've talked a lot about this tonight. April 28th is our deadline. After that, we look at interviews, which is, as Mr. Taby said, it's really about you having the opportunity to get to know us, and we can get to know you a little bit too. If a district has a limit on how many students they'll send, then we'll have a lottery, and those results will be shared with everyone the first week of May. So it's coming right up. A lot's going to happen in the next few weeks, but it's exciting times.
All right, Kim, we have a couple more questions. Oh, sorry. Last slide is just a link to our website. We talked about this a lot as well, and I know that we put it in the chat as well. But please, if you haven't already, take a moment to go to our website. There's a lot of great information there, and we're constantly updating it. All right, so some additional questions that are in the chat, and I just wanted to kind of go through some of them. So I think the first one that we haven't answered is, if an 8th grade student is not chosen through the lottery, will they be given priority consideration to attend the following year? And then the following question, what happens if you weren't picked and someone drops out, will you then be able to take that spot? So part of the lottery process, if it is determined that that the slots for a particular district dictate that, would be then a wait list for the next up. So if the person who is identified determines that or declines their spot, then we'd move on to the next person on the list. And then similarly with the 8th grade student who is not chosen through the lottery, really it's the first year that becomes the most difficult. As we go forward into the 22-23 school year, we'll have 9th, 10th, and 10th graders and beyond as part of the program. So we really would be able to look at students that are not only entering 9th graders, but also entering 10th graders. And that's talked about a little bit more in our FAQ as well. All right, any other questions that are in the chat? Well, I want to thank everyone for their participation this evening. This was a little bit of a different event, and definitely it was very exciting to be here in this building where all of it's going to take place in the fall. So hopefully this was helpful to all of our participants this evening. You got a chance to see what the building is like, see through the video what the arrival process is going to look like. And again, we want to extend the offer that please reach out. We want to be able to explain and offer any assistance to you, answer any questions that you may have about your particular needs for the program. So please don't hesitate in reaching out. Oh, we have one more question in the chat. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you very much. That means a lot. And we're very happy to do this. Again, this is definitely not my comfort zone. So we do our best, but we really appreciate everybody's participation and look forward to seeing you at one of our future events. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.